The stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. I'm your host, the man from Lang. Thank you very much for joining me today. On this episode, we are starting our campaign with Mark Harrigan, the soldier, one of the new investigators who was released in the Path to Carcosa Deluxe expansion. We are going to check him out and see what he can do. Here is the deck we are going to go with. I am by no means a great deck builder, so I am really hoping that this one will see us through to the end of the Dunwich Legacy. We've got a 32 Colt and machetes in there for offense. We've got an If It Bleeds and emergency aid in there for sanity, recovery, and healing. If you're using Sophie, his signature asset / weakness, you do need some way of removing that damage, and emergency aid is probably the best way we have at the moment to do that. There's one copy of Smoking Pipe in there. That is for the late game. You can get a little bit of extra card draw off that, as well as some sanity recovery. There are 2 copies of Shortcut for some extra movement. Now, at the beginning of the game, because Mark Harrigan's intellect is a lowly 2, we are going to have to rely on Sophie to pull off some intellect tests until we can either draw our flashlights, evidence, or perception. So hopefully we will not have to rely on her too heavily, and we can get out what we need in order to explore those locations. Fortunately, we are starting the Dunwich Legacy campaign with The House Always Wins. So investigate is not at a premium in that scenario, and we will just continue throughout all of the 8 scenarios and see how we do. We are set up and ready to go here. Before we get started, I'd just like to thank everybody for their support of the channel so far. If you enjoy this playthrough, make sure that you leave a thumbs up. I appreciate it a great deal, and it helps out the channel get noticed by new players. And if you like to leave a comment, that's great too. I love to hear what you guys have to say and chat about this great game. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to be notified of when I release new content. And there will be plenty of that with the Path to Carcosa Deluxe expansion out. We have Mark Harrigan here in play. He has his signature asset / weakness Sophie. You can take a direct damage to get +2 skill value for a skill test. And whenever Mark Harrigan takes damage, you can trigger his response to draw a card. Mark Harrigan starts in play here at La Bella Luna, which is a True Shroud location with 1 clue. We've got our Clover Club pit boss here at the Clover Club Lounge, and our objective is to rescue Dr. Francis Morgan. Hopefully we will be able to do that. We start on Agenda 1A, the Clover Club, which has a Doom threshold of 4, and our act is 1A, Beginner's Luck. We need 4 clues in order to advance. We are playing The House Always Wins on standard difficulty. The skull's a -2, but you can spend 2 resources to treat the token as a 0 instead. The cultist is a -3, but if you succeed, you gain 3 resources, and the tablet is a -2. If you fail, discard 3 resources. There are no tablets in the Chaos Bag because we are playing The House Always Wins first. I have not drawn a weakness for Mark Harrigan yet, so we will do that now. His weakness for this campaign will be Indebted. So he will start the game with 2 fewer resources. That is a bit of a drag, but at least we know it's not going to sap his hand or resources later, so I'd rather take the 2 resource hit now than later in the game. We are ready to draw his opening hand. I'm going to be looking for a beat cop because I'd like to have one to discard at the Clover Club Lounge, so we do not have to waste our time gambling at the Clover Club card room. So let's see what we get here. We get an emergency cache, a perception, a smoking pipe, a shortcut, and a vicious blow. I'm going to discard, I think I'm going to discard all of those cards, because I want to get that beat cop if I can. There's a dodge, a machete, a colt, an emergency aid, and our signature skill, the home front. So we will shuffle those back into our deck. No beat cop, unfortunately, but we will have a couple of chances to get one if we take damage with Sophie. So let us begin the game. I think as our first action we will play the machete. Play that down to increase our combat to 6. And that will put us at... we need to get this clue at La Bella Luna before the Clover Club pit boss shows up. We will take a damage from Sophie to increase our skill value by 2 and draw a card. There is a shortcut that will help us move around a bit later in the game. So we have a 4 versus 2. Let's see what the Chaos Bag has to say about that. There is an Elder Sign. We are +1 for each damage on Mark Harrigan, so we will succeed and grab that clue. Very nice. Alright, I am going to... third action, I'm going to draw another card. Well, there's a vicious blow, so we haven't seen our... have not seen our beat cop, which I would like. The Clover Club pit boss, he's going to move over to La Bella Luna. We will draw a card, which is another vicious blow. We will gain a resource. Add a doom, and we are ready for our first encounter card, which will be O'Banion's Thug. He is going to hang out here because he is aloof. So that's nice. Get another enemy out of the deck, and he'll be far away from us, hopefully, unless we draw Hunted Downs. We move to our next turn. We've got some interesting choices here. I really don't want to have to gamble at the card room, because that not only does that sap your resources, but it wastes a lot of time. So we will move 1 to the lounge, which we will flip. It's a 2-shroud location with 0 clues, and it has the action discard an ally to gain 2 clues. And we will go to the bar. It's a 3-shroud location with 0 clues. You can spend 2 resources to gain 2 clues from the token pool to draw gain 2 clues and draw 2 cards. I will use my third action to gain a resource, and we will move the pit boss. He slides over. We will draw a card. There's a beat cop. Okay. Interesting. And we'll gain a resource. So what we need to do, we can basically stay here, pitch the beat cop, then move around. So we will do that. We've gained our resource. We will add a doom, and our next encounter card is Twist of Fate. Whoops, why did I put the damage on Sophie? Damage goes on Mark. Twist of Fate, we reveal a random token. Let's see an Elder Sign, please. There's a +1. If you reveal an Elder Sign or a positive number, nothing happens, so we escape from that. We will spend 2 resources to... we are going to gain 2 clues and draw 2 cards. That was our second emergency aid, and we also get a perception. Now, what can we do? What can we do? We need to wait for the pit boss to move to the bar so we can head back to the lounge to discard our ally. So we could draw another card or gain a resource. I'm going to just gain a resource, I think. So that was first action, second action. Third action, I'm going to gain a resource as well. Alright, pit boss moves over. He is still aloof, thank goodness. And we will draw a card. We are going to have to discard some cards here. There's a Guts. I'm going to keep that for later because we will need that for Francis Morgan. Oh man, we've got a lot of good cards here. And we've got to pitch 3 of them. We will throw... I think we're going to throw 1 Vicious Blow, 1 Emergency Aid, and... That's a tough choice. Do I pitch the gun or not? The gun is very helpful if we run into one of those conglomeration of spheres. I think I'm going to pitch the home front, actually, because I have plenty of combat, and I don't think I'll need it. So we will be adding a resource, adding a doom, and drawing an encounter card, which is a cursed luck, unfortunately. That gives us a -1 skill value during skill tests. Alright, Mark's going to move to the Clover Club Lounge, first of all. He will take the free action there to gain 2 clues. Or he will take the action there to discard his Beat Cop to gain 2 clues. And he has to spend those immediately to advance to Act 1B, which is High Roller. We put the Set Aside Darkened Hallway into play. And if it's Agenda 1, we discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until we get a criminal enemy. So let's see. Well, there's a mobster. 1 card and 1 mobster. So that is done. And that's all we have to do. So we advance to Act 2A, which is Skin Game, sorry. Say we need 2 clues to advance, and we need to be in the VIP area. Now, what we can do here is we could go... That was 1, 2... We can move to the card room, then we can spend our shortcut to move to the darkened hallway. Which will flip that. For Shroud location, 0 clues. When we advance to the darkened hallway, we put our 3 back hall doorways into play. We'll shuffle those up, and we will drop those there. Alright, so far so good. We still have the cursed luck. Hopefully we'll be able to get rid of that versus this mobster. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will draw a card. There's a flashlight, gain a clue, and we will advance to Agenda 1B, which is on the right track. We shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck, and we advance to 2A, since this is our first scenario of the campaign. Got nothing else there. This mobster will engage me. We need to move our Clover Club Pit Boss up here. And we put out Agenda 2A, which is Underground Muscle. It has a Doom threshold of 3, so we've got 3 turns before all hell breaks loose, and we need an encounter card, which is another mobster. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. We were planning to kill... We were planning to deal with all of these mobsters, or this mobster this turn, and get moving, but unfortunately we are going to have to deal with O'Banion's Thug as well. While he's engaged with me, I cannot gain resources. So I'm going to have to pitch... What we're going to have to do here is pitch the Vicious Blow for this combat check. We are at 5, 6, 7 versus 2. So let's see how we do. Actually, we are at 1 less than that. Sorry, 5, 6, 7, 6 because of Cursed Luck. So 6 versus 2. So we are at a 4 versus 2, and we do an extra damage. So we do kill the mobster, and we get rid of the Cursed Luck. That's what we like to see. And that was just the Vicious Blow we pitched. Now we can deal with this mobster, or the Thug, sorry. He's a 4, but we are a 6, and we get to do 2 damage against him. So we only have to hit him once. But it is a 6. 6 versus 4. Am I okay with that? I'm okay with that. 6 versus 4. -1. We hit him, and he dies. Alright, so we cleared that. We've got 1 action left, so we might as well keep on moving here. We will move to this back alley doorway. It's the VIP area. So it's a 3-shroud location with 1 clue. And while we are in the VIP area, we cannot draw cards or gain resources during the upkeep phase. That will be our turn. The pit boss will continue his pursuit to the darkened hall. We cannot gain cards or resources, so there's nothing to be gained there. We will add a doom and draw a card, which is a rats. Annoying, but not fatal. Fair enough. Rats, you are going to die right now. 6 versus 1. Let's just get rid of them. -3. Good enough. We need to do an investigate check here. We are going to use Sophie to do a damage to ourselves. We will draw a card for that. And we will pitch our perception. So we will go 2, 4, 6 versus 3. I'm going to pitch a flashlight to make that a 7 versus 3. And that is a skull, which is a -2, so we are successful. And we can advance. So we killed the rats. We investigate. We've got the 2 clues, so we can advance to the next... we can advance our act. Flip that over. That will be Since we have not completed extracurricular activities, this is Dr. Morgan's fate. We put Dr. Morgan into play here. And we go to Act 3A, which is all in. We need to make a parlay test, which is willpower 3, in order to take control of Dr. Morgan. And then we need to, if we resign, we are able to advance. So what we need to do, we have one action remaining. We are going to hit up Sophie one more time and pitch our guts. So that will be, we are a 3, 4, 5, 6. We pitched a perception last turn, didn't we? Yes, we did. So we get a card out of that. There's our smoking pipe. And so we hit up Sophie for 5, 6, 7 versus 3 for the test. That is a cultist, which is a -3. So we are successful, and we gain 3 resources. Excellent. And we take control of Dr. Morgan. Nice. And our combat goes up by 1 more. Our pit boss is going to come and visit us. And he will attack, and I'm going to use a resource to play the dodge and to cancel that attack. No resources are war cards for us this turn. We will add a doom and draw an encounter card. It is a twist of fate, so we can take damage or horror. Let's hope for a positive number or an elder sign. I've been pretty lucky at this so far. Oh, -1 this time. Too bad. Alright, so we take a damage and we are at 4. So we are right on the threshold of... actually, we're just going to put that on Dr. Francis Morgan. And we will trigger Mark's effect to draw a card. There's an If It Bleeds, which isn't all that helpful in this game. I was playing this scenario with a different investigator recently, and I ended up dying in quite a spectacular fashion. I think I drew 4 tentacles in 2 turns and ended up dying. So far we haven't seen the tentacle, which is always nice. And we will continue. We've got to kill this mobster. We've got to kill the pit boss. He is a... he's a 3, but we are a 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 3. There's the tentacle. You knew the tentacle had to show up at some point. Alright, fair enough. He doesn't have retaliate, so we will try again. 7 versus 3. There's a skull, so that will be 2 damage. And as our final attack, we will do it again. There's another skull, so that will be 2 damage, and we add him to our victory display. Unfortunately, we do not get to go anywhere. It would have been nice to be able to move there. That we do not get any cards or resources, so we will simply add a doom. That will advance us to Agenda 2B, Sudden Chaos. So now we spawn the random. We will go find our hideous abominations, of which there are 3. And we will just draw a random number to see which one we get. We are facing down number 1, so this guy goes here. These 2 get shuffled into the deck. These get shuffled into the deck, as well as this. And we move our Striking Fear set into the deck. this O'Banion's thug moves over to the Clover Club Lounge, and La Bella Luna is placed out of play. Fair enough. All right, I believe we've done everything we need to do. So we will shuffle up this encounter deck one more time. We will place Agenda 3A into play. Chaos in the Clover Club. It has a doom threshold of 7. So we will draw ourselves an encounter card. It's another rats. Rats. Okay, we will kill the rats. So that will be, well, we are a 5, 6, 7 versus 1. So that's a 0. So the rats die. And we will exhaust Dr. Francis Morgan to draw a card, which is an Unexpected Courage. Second action, we will move back to the darkened hallway. Third action, we will move to this back hall doorway, which is the art gallery 2-shroud location with 1 clue. And if we fail a skill test there, we lose 2 resources. We go to the enemy phase. This O'Banion's thug gets killed by the conglomeration, which moves up to the card room. We do get to draw cards and resources this turn. There's an emergency cache, a resource, a doom for chaos in the Clover Club, and we draw an encounter card, which is another conglomeration of spheres. Oh dear. All right, that throws an interesting, adds an interesting dimension to this game. How are we going to do this? We've got to I guess what we could do is, we can't really evade it all that easily because it's got a 4. We're a 3. We could kill it, but it's going to take us a couple turns to do that, unless we want to use our machete. But then we would lose the machete. Or we could take a damage. Problem is now we're going to have to fight 2 of these stupid things if we get stuck here. So we could take an attack of opportunity. Problem is if we end up with too much horror on us. If we take an attack of opportunity, if we get the art gallery clue, we'd have to take 3. So we're gonna I think we're gonna have to fight these stupid things. Ah, boy. Oh, what do we do here? If we take an attack of opportunity, we can put the gun into play and then blast away at them. That's probably our best bet. We will do that. So we will take an attack of opportunity. We will put a damage on Sir Francis and a horror on ourselves, but we will play the gun out. Colt 32 Colt has 6 ammo, and it just gives us +2 damage for an ammo. We did put a damage on Morgan, so we do get to draw a card, which is another 32 Colt. And we will discard, that was our first action, we will discard 1 from the 32 Colt to make a, we are going 5, 6 versus 1. There's an Elder Sign. We're +1 for each damage on Morgan, so we hit it by a ton. So we do 2 damage, And we will do it one more time. That's a -1, so we hit it for 2 damage. Alright. And now we will take another attack. During the enemy phase, this guy is moving down. And this guy's going to make an attack against us. So we have to do another damage to Morgan. And we will take another sanity. Fortunately, we do have the if it bleeds, so we can reduce our sanity by 1 if we need to. We've also got the smoking pipe. We're going to have to kill 2 of these stupid things, though. That's really annoying. We will draw a card. It's a perception. Gain a resource, and add a doom. And our encounter card is Twist of Fate. It's not going to kill us if we draw a special symbol, but it might. It's going to get us close. So we will draw from the Chaos Bag. It's a -4. So we will simply take a damage. So we were at 4 damage and 3 on Morgan. Do I want to draw a card because of that? Yes, I do. There is our Shell Shock. For every 2 damage, you take a horror. So we take 2 horror. Okay. That was not good. We may not get out of this. This is going to be tricky. Alright, we've got to take 1 shot at the conglomeration here. So we are at a 6 versus 1. So we hit the conglomeration for 2 damage. And it will die. So we just get to discard that. We will play our If It Bleeds. To remove 1, to heal 1 horror off us. We have 2 actions remaining. How do we do this? If we play that, if we play the emergency aid, we could heal 2 damage off us. Then we could play the smoking pipe to heal a horror. We're going to do that. So we will play our emergency aid to heal 2 damage from us. Then we are going to play 1 for our smoking pipe. Which we will, has 3 supplies on it, which we will use. We will use a supply. We will take a damage to heal a horror. And we will trigger our ability. Oh, there's our True Grit. That's pretty helpful too. That's 3 more damage we can take. Alright. So that puts us in a position where this guy will come and attack us now. So we will take a damage and a horror. And that will ready. We will draw a card and gain a resource. We will add a doom and draw ourselves an encounter card, which is another twist of fate. Well, this could kill us straight up here if we draw the wrong symbol. And we draw the wrong symbol, and we die. What do we do here? If each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to take a horror and Francis Morgan will have to take a horror. And he will go insane. So he's discarded. Now, we can heal a horror. We've got to kill this sucker this turn. But we don't have anything to take a damage with. Unless if we damage ourselves again, we're going to lose to Sophie. There's so many cards in the deck, though, that can kill us at this point. So we're simply going to use our gun, I think. First shot, we are a 5 versus 1. That is a hit. Second shot, that's an elder sign. We clobber him that time. And third shot, that is we pass. So our gun is empty, but we do kill the Abomination of Spheres. All right. Fair enough. That was our turn. We haven't failed a skill check here, fortunately. We will draw. Now, what do we do here? Do we take the damage? Oh, that's a tough choice. If we draw Rotting Remains, we're probably dead. So let's just draw. Oh, there's a shortcut. Nice. Excellent. Okay, and we draw a card, get a resource, add a doom, and let's see what we get for our encounter card. It's an Arousing Suspicion. That's pretty good. Place a doom on each criminal. No doom, 2 resources lost. That is absolutely fine with me. We need to get out of here before we die. So we are going to pitch our Perception and our Unexpected Courage. What does that put us at? 2, 4, 6 versus 2. 2, 4, 6 versus 2. Oh my god, I can't believe that. We auto-fail. So that is, we lose 2 resources because we failed a skill test there. Unbelievable. Alright, well, we've got another Unexpected Courage. We can go 4 versus 2, 5 versus 2 for the flashlight. There's a -1. So we do grab that clue. That was our second action. Third action, we can move to the Darkened Hall. Then we can spend our shortcut to move to the back alley. And I'm actually going to use one of our one of my things on smoking pipe to heal a horror and take a damage. So Sophie is going to flip. Take a damage here. So Sophie will flip. Alright, so each of our skills are -1. That's okay. We will draw a card. Should be one clue on here. Gain a resource. And add a doom. Here we go. Final turn. There's a mobster. No problem. Okay, and we will simply resign. Whoo! That was a close one. That was a lot closer than I wanted it to be. We managed to get to the back alley and resign without incurring a mobster attack. We suffered a little bit more damage than I was expecting there, that's for sure. Having to fight 2 conglomeration of spheres is pretty awful. Thankfully, we did have the 32 Colt in our hand, and we were able to get that down. And that was really all the huge difference. That saved us a ton of time to kill those 2 conglomerations. So if each undefeated investigator has resigned, we get to advance. If we can get it right. If we resigned with Dr. Francis Morgan under our control, we get R2, otherwise we get R1. So unfortunately, we were not able to keep Francis Morgan around because we would have ended up dying, but so we will get R1. We are safe for now. Okay, well, we will continue this campaign in extracurricular activity. And we will attempt to take down the abomination in that. So that is going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed this playthrough, please leave me a thumbs up. I appreciate it a great deal, and it helps out the channel. If you'd like to chat about this great game, please leave a comment down below. If you'd like to contact me, I can be reached at manfromleng@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at manfromleng. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to be notified of when I release future content. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.